So this listener gave me positive feedback by saying, I want you to know I really do appreciate the hard work and love you've put into your channel. It's admirable. I think being an American, I assume, and walking this path, you must have an open mind. So I present to you the simple question, do you believe the Tatakata was enlightened? And if so, why can you see yourself in the mirror? Now, that second part kind of confused me, and I'm not sure about the connection between the two parts. Maybe as I upload this video, some of you who are listening to this can comment upon that. But anyhow, this is the reply I gave this individual. I said, thank you for your feedback. I do work hard on creating uploads for this channel, but it does not feel like a burden because it is indeed a labor of love. You are correct about me being an American, and I do like to think I have an open mind. The first part of your question is easy. Yes, I do believe that the Tathagata was enlightened, which to me means that there was a virtually constant ability to be mindful of things, quote, as they are, in terms of, quote, suchness, rather than spinning stories about them based on the dualistic thinking mind. I am not sure of the connection to seeing myself in the mirror, but I will take a stab at a response by saying the following. Even though my, quote, concept of existing as a separate being is an illusion, and, quote, enlightenment means transcending the sphere of, quote, I, me, and mine, at a relative or conventional level, I do, quote, exist. Again, to me it comes down to having the experience and perspective of non-dual consciousness. As it says in the sutras, there is neither existence nor non-existence. Both are an illusion. To help us, quote, realize this, the Tathagata teaches in many ways, adapted skillfully to the ability of particular beings to hear. And I put hear in quotes. Anyhow, I hope that gives some sliver of an understandable response to your query. And, what I might want to do there is piggyback, since there's reference to the work I do on my channel. A listener indicated that it was great to have found my channel, and he asked, what is it trying to convey in layman's terms for a beginner like me? And I took it to mean, what am I hoping my channel will convey? And what I indicated, which may help in general, those of you who are listening, to have a better sense of where my head is at, where I'm coming from in doing these videos, I said, I am trying to convey the notion that there are many Buddhist teachings, but that they all have value and lead to positive development in one's spiritual life. I believe that the best approach for someone interested in Buddhism is to explore those teachings that one is most attracted to, which may evolve over time. At a more specific level, reflecting my own interests, my channel focuses mainly on teachings within the sutras or scriptures of the Mahayana or Great Vehicle branch of Buddhism. Major emphasis is placed on the Threefold Lotus Sutra and on the Bodhisattva path, as well as teachings within the Pure Land Buddhist tradition. And then I indicated to this individual, I wish you well in your own exploration. So that helps maybe give some understanding again of why I'm sort of all over the waterfront when it comes to, Buddhist readings or Buddhist commentaries or my own thoughts and commentaries regarding multiple kinds of Buddhist paths. And of course, within the tradition, they talk about there being 84,000 paths. For myself, I think there's value in identifying with a particular major path or major tradition. But in some sense, in reality, I almost think that there are as many paths as there are individuals, in the sense of, the various nuances of how a given individual thinks about the various elements within the Buddhist tradition, or for that matter, within any religious tradition. I don't know that we can all be sort of cookie cutter believers, if you will, in the exact sort of doctrinal purity, if you will. But on the other hand, I think there's value in identifying broadly with a major lineage, a major tradition. Why? Because, that helps facilitate a sense of belonging to a sangha, is one important reason. And it also, I think, helps reduce egocentricity. In other words, the ego wants to sort of be boastful and say, oh, well, I have the exact truth and it's exactly this particular formula or this nuance set of beliefs that are different than all the other mainstream traditions. Well, that may or may not be true. But again, the point being, I think that's a path that carries more risks. When we think of the fact that, which at least I consider to be a fact, that in a sense, ego is the main obstacle to a more enlightened perspective, to a perspective that appreciates the interconnectedness that we have with all other humans and with all other sentient beings, us being really a part of nature that in a fundamental way, whether we perceive it that way or not, is integrated with all of the rest of nature. And in some sense, maybe our major problem as a species or as individuals within the human race is that we don't see it that way. We see ourselves as individuals who are competing with all other individuals and looking to, conquer the environment and to establish ourselves in some kind of individualistic achievement. And so, when I talk about evolvement, when I say that when a person sort of gravitates toward the teachings that he or she is most attracted to, and I say, which may evolve over time, I would put forth the notion that I think that evolution is in the direction of a decreasing sense of one's ability to accomplish stages or attainment levels on the spiritual path through one's own effort. And one evolves, in my opinion, increasingly toward an appreciation for one's interdependence, for one's interconnectedness, and for ultimately the existence, if you will, in spite of the truth of non-existence, not non-existence, an evolution toward the existence of some kind of mysterious other power that helps us, that really can be framed in terms of the Pure Land tradition and a cosmic Buddha like Amida Buddha, or within the sutras, the so-called sustaining power of the Buddhas that we see laced throughout the Mahayana teachings, that eventually the Bodhisattva recognizes that he or she is able to accomplish the things that are accomplished, again, not exclusively through one's own effort, but through the assistance and support of the entire array of Buddhas of past, present, and future. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.